Israel's national security minister said the quiet part out loud. He said Trump's agreement does not bind Israel, not carefully, not diplomatically, not through soft language. He said Israel is not part of this deal, and that one sentence tells you why this crisis is so dangerous. Because this is not just a disagreement between allies, this is a test of power. The United States has reached a deal with Iran. Iran says Lebanon matters. Hezbollah is watching. Israel says it will not be bound. And Netanyahu is now caught in the middle. On one side he has Donald Trump. Trump wants the deal to hold. He wants to say he stopped a wider war. He wants to say American pressure forced Iran into a new framework. But on the other side, Netanyahu has his own government. And some of the most powerful ministers in that government do not want restraint. They do not want withdrawal. They do not want a deal that gives Iran or Hezbollah time to breathe. That is the real story. Not just a peace deal, not just a ceasefire, not just another round of Middle East diplomacy. This is about whether an agreement signed by Washington and Tehran can survive contact with the battlefield in Lebanon, because Lebanon is the fuse. Iran did not only care about ending direct conflict with America. Iran also cared about Hezbollah. Hezbollah is Iran's strongest regional ally, and Hezbollah has been under heavy pressure from Israeli military operations in Lebanon. Its positions have been hit, its movement has been restricted, its infrastructure has been damaged. So, from Iran's point of view, a deal that does not calm Lebanon is not really a full deal. It is only a pause in one place while its ally keeps bleeding in another. That is why Lebanon became so important. Iran wanted Lebanon included. Iran wanted the pressure on Hezbollah reduced, and that is exactly why Israel's government is pushing back so hard, because Israel sees the same battlefield from the opposite direction. From Israel's point of view, Hezbollah is weaker now. The IDF has gained positions. Security zones have been created. Pressure has been built. So why stop now? Why give Iran what it wants at the moment Hezbollah is under strain? That is the question driving Israel's reaction. And it is why the statements from Israeli ministers matter. They are not random comments. They are warning signs. First, Ben-Gvir rejected the deal. His message was simple. Israel is sovereign. Israel is independent. And Israel does not take orders from Washington. That message was aimed at America. But it was also aimed at his own voters. He was saying, we will not be restrained. We will not be managed. We will not let Trump decide what Israel can do in Lebanon. Then came Bezalel Smotrich. His language was even harder. He called the agreement bad for Israel and bad for the free world. Then he went further. He said Israel must keep working against Iran's regime, even if it has to do so alone. That matters, because he is not treating the deal as a diplomatic opening. He is treating it as a dangerous interruption. To him, the problem is not that the deal is weak. The problem is that the deal stops the pressure too early. Then came the military reality. Defense Minister Israel Katz said Israeli forces will remain in security zones, in Lebanon, in Syria, and in Gaza. That is where the paper deal meets the ground, because a ceasefire is not real just because leaders announce it. A ceasefire becomes real when soldiers move, when commanders receive new orders, when aircraft stop striking, when artillery falls silent, when positions are abandoned, when the map changes. But Israel is saying the map will not change. The zones stay, the IDF stays, the military pressure stays, and that creates the central contradiction. Washington and Tehran may have a deal, but Israel is saying it will keep its freedom of action. Iran can look at that and say the agreement is already being violated. Hezbollah can look at that and say Israel is using diplomacy to freeze Iran while keeping pressure on Lebanon. And Trump can look at that and face a hard question. Can he make Netanyahu respect the deal, or has he signed an agreement that one of America's closest allies can undermine on day one? That is why Netanyahu is in such a difficult position. He is not only dealing with Iran, he is not only dealing with Trump, he is dealing with his own coalition. His government depends on ministers who see restraint as surrender. If Netanyahu moves too far toward Trump, his right-wing partners can accuse him of weakness. They can say he gave in to American pressure. They can say he rescued Hezbollah. They can threaten the coalition. But if Netanyahu defies Trump too openly, he risks a serious rupture with the United States. And Israel cannot treat that lightly. America is not just another country in this story. America is Israel's main military backer. America provides diplomatic cover. America protects Israel at the United Nations. America supplies weapons, coordination, and strategic support. So when Israeli ministers say the US deal does not bind them, they are doing something very risky. They are telling Israel's most important ally that American diplomacy has limits. That is not normal. That is not small. That is a serious crack. And cracks like this can spread. The whole deal now depends on three possible paths. The first path is American pressure. Trump could decide that if this is his deal, he has to defend it. That would mean more than phone calls. It would mean real leverage, military aid conversations, weapons deliveries, diplomatic cover, public pressure, private pressure, maybe even consequences. But that would create a fight with Netanyahu, and it would give Israel's far-right ministers a new argument. They would say, America is trying to stop Israel from defending itself. That path is possible, but it is politically explosive. The second path is Iranian patience. Iran could decide the deal is still worth keeping. Even if Israel stays in Lebanon for now, Iran may want the economic benefits. It may want the reduction in direct conflict. It may want to reopen space for future negotiations. But that choice has a cost. Because Hezbollah may feel exposed, Iran's allies may ask why Tehran accepted a deal that protects Iran while leaving them under pressure. That path keeps the deal alive, but it keeps the anger alive too. The third path is collapse. This is the most dangerous one. Iran says Israel is violating the agreement. Hezbollah responds. Israel strikes harder. Washington blames Tehran. Tehran blames Israel, and suddenly the deal still exists on paper, but the war is back on the ground. That is how many agreements fail, not all at once, not with one dramatic announcement. They fail through exceptions. One security zone that stays, one strike described as defensive, one militia response described as retaliation, one clause interpreted differently. One side says the deal is being followed, the other says it is already dead, and then the paper cannot control the battlefield anymore. That is the danger now, because the biggest problem is not the signing ceremony, the biggest problem is enforcement. Who makes Israel stop? Who convinces Iran to wait? Who tells Hezbollah to stay quiet? Who decides whether a strike in Lebanon breaks the deal? Who decides whether a security zone is defensive or illegal? These are not small details. These are the details that decide whether peace survives. And Netanyahu is stuck inside all of them. He has to keep Trump close. He has to keep his coalition alive. He has to keep pressure on Hezbollah. He has to avoid giving Iran a reason to walk away. And he has to do all of that while his own ministers are publicly rejecting the logic of the deal. That is why this moment feels unstable, not because one person gave one angry quote, but because every actor is pulling in a different direction. Trump wants a diplomatic win. Iran wants Lebanon included. Hezbollah wants Israeli withdrawal. Israel wants military freedom. Netanyahu wants survival. And those goals do not fit neatly together. So, yes, there is a deal. Yes, leaders are talking about calm. Yes, markets may act like the crisis is cooling, but the hard part has not started yet. The document is one thing, the battlefield is another. And right now, the battlefield is asking the question that diplomacy does not want to answer. If Israel refuses to leave Lebanon, does the deal still exist? If Iran accepts that, what does it tell Hezbollah? If Trump ignores it, what does it say about American power? And if Netanyahu backs down, what happens to his government? That is the real trap. Not just for Israel, not just for Iran, not just for Trump, for the whole agreement. Because peace is not proven when a deal is announced. Peace is proven when the people with guns change what they do. And right now, Israel is saying something very clear. The deal may be signed, but the IDF is staying. That is not peace yet. That is a countdown.